Check it out, guys. This engine install has came a long way. We just finished up the Big 7 wire upgrade. We got our catch can modification going now, and we are moments away from firing this bad boy up for the first time. But as you can see, there's a couple things we gotta button up. We gotta put a battery in, and we gotta also add our fluids in. So we're gonna get a pre-start checklist video right before the big day, and hopefully we'll be able to start this thing by the end of this project. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Dan H, and welcome to the project. So excited. We're going to start this thing up, hopefully by the end of this project. And all we got to do is just button a few things up. Got to get our rad support on, throw in our battery, do some fluids, make sure there's nothing else outstanding, no bolts left unbolted, and we got to make sure that we got oil in it. That's the most important thing, right? You can't have a car run without oil. So I guess we're going to do this in order of importance. I'm thinking we got to get it running first. So that's oil and coolant. So it's got to run, and then it's got to drive. So then we'll check the trans fluid and the power steering fluid so its accessories can drive. And we'll worry about how it looks later on. But I want to get this thing started. So let's get right to it. All right, we got our rad flopping around. So we got to do a rad support. We got to make sure this doesn't hit when that's installed. We also need a fan shroud, and we got to get the E-fan in. So let's go ahead and do that right now. E-fan included in the project. Thank you, previous owner. And the E-fan is just going to go in here, and there's two tabs in the bottom of the radiator that hold up. Wait a minute.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Got to get the belt in first. What am I thinking? All right, here is the serpentine belt included with this build. Thank you, previous owner. How do we get this belt in? If there was only a way that we could learn how to do this. There we go. An XJ belt routing sticker glued to the center console of my workbench. All right, just gonna loosen up this tensioner, 15 millimeter. All right, and now we could remove all the pressure off by loosening this up here. All right, it's pretty much all the way down. There is no resistance at all. And now we're gonna loop the belt around, starting with the alternator, and it's going to end on the power steering pulley, kind of like a giant U, only a bubble U, because it's gonna be two lines of it. So yeah, let's just try to fish this down around here first. See if I could do this one-handed, as usual, right? All right, it's easier for me if I just grab it from the bottom, you know, because I'm one-handed and all.
It was the one-armed man.
All right, I got the belt started on the alternator, and now I'm just going to start my U by taking this side and going down, and this side going up, and then they both go down. And around, and then down. The bottom side with the ribs goes on your crank, and the smooth side goes on your water pump. Then all you got to do is just loop it around your power steering pulley. And with the tensioner loosened, it's going to just slide over the tensioner, and it's on. Easy peasy. All right, once the belt is on, just make sure that all the ribs are in place on every pulley that has ribs. The ones without ribs, they'll straighten themselves out. And now you see this, all this slop, that is no good. So we're going to just finger snug this pulley so it's not wobbly, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten down the tensioner. And here we go. We're going to draw up that pulley so we have no more slop. Getting there. Even better. I think we got it. If you push it, it shouldn't move more than a 1/4 inch. And I think that's what they're talking about when they say deflection. All right, if you're satisfied with your belt tightness, we're going to go ahead and tighten down this pulley so it doesn't move. There we go, nice and snug. All right, now you don't want it too tight. If it's too tight, it could snap the belt and maybe cause pulley damage. If it's too loose, then you're obviously going to get a squeaky belt, and if it's really, really loose, nothing will work. All right, now we could get our fan in, and those tabs slide gingerly into the tabs in the radiator, just like that. And you can reach down in here and find your plug. Fish your plug underneath the radiator cap, and we'll plug her in. All right, E-fan is in and plugged up. Now we just gotta drop in a shroud for our mechanical fan with the clutch. Unfortunately, there was none included in this Jeep, but I found a brand new shroud in my parts pile. Check out the date on this, guys. 11/16/21. I bought this for beach Jeep, but you know, things are taking a while. So I'll just use it on this. Don't worry, I ordered a new one on Amazon, so I'll have that in a second. And Beach Jeep will be up and running this summer. That is what I'm gonna do on this channel, I promise. Check this out, guys. Beach Jeep engine. Oh, I just painted the valve cover. This is one of my favorite color blues. This is going to be the color of Beach Jeep. As soon as I could get hooked up with Jonathan Davis, and he's gonna finish the body work and paint Beach Jeep. Maybe, hopefully. If you're watching, John, let's do this, for real. There we go. I peeled the sticker and lined up the tabs. Now we could get on our whole rad support to bolt these in. All right, I threw a little touch-up paint on this thing last night. It's nice and dried. Now we could go ahead and line up our holes. Let's see, let's get this over here. And we want to drop those little studs, there it is, from the radiator on here. And the same thing on this side. When this whole thing is lined up, then you could get your little fasteners in. We're going to use anti-seize. Don't be afraid, you could use a lot of anti-seize, because these will rust. And a lot of times they break off in the body of the vehicle, and that is really annoying. I hate when that happens, so don't be afraid to use a lot. Just gotta glop this on. You could always wipe it off, but if you don't have enough and this snaps off in the body, it will suck. So, anti-seize, big globs. And make sure you do this before you put the battery in, because the battery will be in the way if you try to do this after the battery. Anti-seize, find the hole, hand thread.
Anti-seize, find the hole, hand thread. Anti-seize, find the hole, hand thread.
Now we got these radiator isolator studs that come up from our new radiator isolators. Of course, they're gonna get hit with some anti-seize as well. Anti-seize as well. And look at this, guys. I found two really nice new nuts in my parts pile. Gonna go ahead and squish this down. And hand thread. Squish her down. Hand thread. Once you got all of these hand threaded, we can start to tighten them down. All right, I'll start on the inside ones first. Snug. 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 All right, these shrouds get held in place by these little 8mm fasteners. Again, dip them in anti-seize, and we'll get them right where they go. Through the hole, into the bracket. Hand tighten. I almost forgot. Battery tie down goes right here. All right, guys, I got all 4 of my fasteners in place, and check it out. I got 3 of 3 fasteners semi-intact that hold on the strap to the overflow hose. Now, they're supposed to not have any breaks in them, but I mean, this is probably the best set I've ever had in restoring an XJ. So I'm gonna use it as it's intended by the factory. Look at that. Oh, don't snap, don't snap. I'm almost there. Yeah, baby. We did it. Wow, I've never had this. 3 of 3 factory straps. Semi-intact, of course. All right, I'm gonna lean back in here, make sure the fan doesn't interfere with anything. This is great, it doesn't hit the AC lines. Now that this is in place, I think this is good to go up front. And speaking of battery, let's go ahead and sit a battery back in here. Let's see, this definitely isn't an XJ battery. This one's a little smaller than the first one we tried, but no, this one is still too tall. Oh well, it'll help us get started. All right, got our battery cables snugged up on this temporary battery. Man, I love these terminals. Thank you, Big 7. What a great upgrade. I'm going to leave you guys a link in the description for this. All right, I think the only thing left I have to do up top is these cables. So I'll start with the throttle cable. This one is going to go here into the first position. Thread through here, clip in, and it's going to extend, and it's going to clip on the ball on your throttle body. There you go. And the wire gets clicked in. Now we got the trans cable, kick down cable. This is going to get this big open port. Rest right there. And this little plastic hook is going to click right on here. There we go. That's 2. And finally, if you have cruise control, it's going to go right in the middle. Fish it through. Come on, baby. And it's going to go right on this side. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm held up on the AC. All right. There we go. Click her in, and then hook her on. And that gets snugged in right there. There we go. I think we are all set up top, and it's fluid time. So I'll start with the oil. I'm going to go ahead and take the oil cap off, just so we can make sure we can get oil back in. All right, oil drain plug should be 16 millimeter. That is for me. Make sure your catch basin is squared up. Let's see how much we got in here. All right, nice little dribble. Black, but smooth. Let's see how it tastes. Just kidding. Still got that brand new Mopar oil filter on from when I installed the engine. Actually, when I did the adapter O-rings, so that's still good. We don't have all day, so I'm gonna call that good. While I'm down here, let's inspect to see if everything else is installed properly. Make sure there's nothing, no unfinished business, no stones unturned. Ooh, like this. Let's just hook up this trans mount where it should be. Found another one on the other side. There we go. All right, we're gonna give her 6 quarts of 1030, high mileage. Got Pennzoil. Now I love the Rotella stuff, but couldn't find any in the store. So no Rotella. That is diesel fuel, and that has a lot of ZDDP in it. ZDDP, yeah, that's right. That's good zinc. It's good for these flat tappet lifters. It makes it run nice and smooth. But I'm going to take care of that with a little additive. All right, so that is 4.5 quarts. I just need 1.5 more quarts. That should do it. Now I'm going to top it off with this stuff. Rislone engine treatment. It cleans and restores, protects, quiets noisy lifters and valves. Well, we know it's a 4.0, so it inherently has noisy lifters. So I'm just going to pour this sucker in here. There we go. And we'll cap her up. Wipe down any spills. You don't want that stink of burning oil, especially on your first shot starting it up. Don't want any unnecessary scares. Wow, she cleans up really good when the pollen is gone. Oh baby, do the whole thing, right? And now's a great time to check the oil, but we got a little bit of a problem. One more quick project to do. Oh wow, finally got it. That was a bit of a pain in the ass. And I got a new one. Actually, it's never new. It's always from my parts pile. Engine oil dipstick. All right, let's see where we're at. There we go. Looks like my blob stops right there, which is in the safe mark. Jackpot.
Jackpot.
All right, next is the coolant. So the XJ has about a 3-gallon system. We want to make sure we run our distilled water with 2 containers of concentrate and of course a nice clean funnel. All right, we'll get as much as we can in now. We might have to add more when this engine's running and circulating, but that's cool. I usually add the water last. I'd rather have a higher concentration of antifreeze just in case it freezes up. Don't want the freeze plugs blowing out. And more water, that usually just ends up leading to rust and corrosion. All right, all the rest of the fluids in here will be distilled water. Also, water last is good because if you put too much and it starts spilling out, you're only spilling out water, and you're saving the environment from getting antifreeze spilled out. All right, I got a half a funnel full of water, and I'm just gonna start squeezing the upper rad hose, and it should push out any air bubbles, and the water will get sucked in. All right, that should be enough to keep her cool to start. So here's what I was talking about. There you go. And we'll cap her up. All right, we'll throw in a little power steering fluid. Yeah, that should be good. Now this sucker was pretty much empty. There was probably just a little bit left in the pump when we changed those lines. So we'll do some left to right rotations of the steering wheel when we get this baby started, just so we can make sure everything is circulating good in the power steering system. We got to make sure we get all the air out. I also got some fresh gas in this bad boy. Okay, so I got my fuel line attached to a hose, and that's going into a bucket. So I'm just going to turn the key to the on position. That will prime the fuel pump. We'll get some of this crappy gas out. It's probably been sitting for a while. God knows how long this has been out. And then I'll put some fresh gas in. All right. Oh man, getting there, guys. We're getting there. We are actually in the Jeep. Let's see, where are the keys? I had them the other day. Oh yeah, they're on the seat. Keys. All right, let's plug her in. Prime the fuel pump. Let the battery run. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm glad we're getting fresh fuel in there. Don't want an evap leak. All right, here we go. I'm gonna crank it without the fuel line hooked up. We're just gonna get some oil back flowing through the engine, the new engine. It's the first time they're gonna work in unison. So here we go, fingers crossed, say a prayer. Let's do it. All right, sounded normal so far. Oh, guys, we are right there. All right, what do you say we plug in the fuel line and we'll give her just a quick crank, a little quick crank, and then we'll do a starting video. Little quick crank. All right, let's disconnect my fuel line. Just a rubber hose. Where did I get this hose from? I think this was from like a steamer, a clothes steamer. I usually save hoses. Oh, there. There's the fuel. Blah. Oh, I zip tied it. Smart me. All right, we'll leave that there for a while. I'll take off our lock. That thing broke. After I said, make sure it doesn't break, it broke.
It broke.
All right, clipped on. And we'll get this lock in place. There we go. All right, baby. We'll prime it a couple more times and we'll get fuel in the fuel rail. All right, we are introducing fuel into the system. All right, I think it's time for our first start. Here we go.